My name is Frederick L. Williams.
I'm Alex.
I'm Sakari Thomas.
Jade Burns.
Benjamin Ranky.
Nick Emanuel.
Adam Unger.
Marley Thomas.
I'm going to East High School next year.
I've done things for Lion's Den Production, Brown Hat Production, Grant Larson Production.
I graduated Cathedral Prep after 2015, and I'll be attending University of Pittsburgh this fall.
I go to McDowell Intermediate High School. I will be a 10th grader this year.
I'm 15 years old. I go to Union City High School.
I teach at McDowell Intermediate High School. I have degrees in education and English.
I just graduated from McDowell High School, and I'm going to study broadcast and digital journalism at Syracuse University.
I'm 20 years old. I'm a junior at Edinburgh University, and my major is graphic design.
A minority group would be anyone who either historically hasn't had a voice politically or represented in media or any type of form like that.
Minority group is a small, or population in wise, a small group of people based on race, religion, gender. They're largely outnumbered by the majority of most people. Like I said, race, gender, religion.
My definition would be something different, something that makes you different from the rest.
We as Americans have to think outside the box as Americans and not think of ourselves as being individuals from a group. You know, we're Americans first and foremost.
Aggression is the conflict that you could have between the people around you.
Aggression is when you use status, power to try to overpower the mind of another.
I've experienced relationship aggression. I've experienced not so much cyber, more so verbal. For me, the most part why I was a target is stereotypical black guy is illiterate, doesn't speak well, they talk in slang. And because I talk like I'm an educated being, I got made fun of by not only Caucasians but also African Americans for the way I am.
I'm Jewish. I've had people in McDowell, I've never seen them before, say, "Oh, how did the gas chamber taste?" or "Oh, go jump in an oven," and then they just keep walking. Never seen them before, never seen them after that. There was a stretch when I was in 6th or 7th grade, and that was when people started to get mean about different religions, different races, different cultures, you know, political views, all of that stuff. And there was a point, I remember going home and sitting at the dinner table with my parents after, like, some kid made, like, "Oh, it's National Hitler Day," and dozens of jokes about the Holocaust that one day when I was in 7th grade. Why? And I go home that day and I looked at my parents and I said, I want to convert to Christianity.
I was a nonconformist. I didn't really fit in to certain groups, and even if I tried, I could only hold it up for so long. I was an outsider. And sometimes I just thought, you know, it'd be just easier just to turn the other way.
The relationship between being a minority and the target of aggression, again, I think stems from who thinks they're being heard and who doesn't think they're being heard, and who thinks they're gaining power or losing power. I know those are really like vague terms. So I think as groups, majority groups, whether it's based on race, sexual orientation, language, religion, whatever, economic status, whatever it is, I think when those majority groups feel that other groups want different treatment than the majority groups used to, I think the majority group tends to get very defensive of it.
Like, you know, obviously, yeah, I can fit in around people, but deep down, if you dig deep enough for minorities, there is something about them that makes them not fit in, which is what in turn makes them a minority. And the desire of everyone else around them to fit in causes the minorities to be singled out more.
I believe being a minority, you already have society already puts stereotypes on you. You're supposed to act a certain way, and I believe that people believe these stereotypes, and when they see you, they want to think they know you already, and they don't. For example, being African American, they already assume I steal, I cheat, I'm not a trustworthy person, so by default, they're just gonna not gonna tell me anything. They're gonna say don't trust him, and that's not fair.
It's more likely that you're a minority that you get peer aggression because you are different from the other people. So that makes you a target for that person to go at. Like, it's just something general, not even like that you're a minority, that you could be like tall or short, or you can't do something else that someone else can do. You are a target for that person, and that's what society needs to get over. People are different.
We intermingle, we don't have a choice, okay? This is America, this is the way we made it. Let's get off of the minority bandwagon and let's move forward for the good of us all. Now you're hearing that from me as a black person.
I've been through a lot of these experiences, and each time, each one really sticks with me still to this day, and I always remember it. And back then, when I was younger, I used to be an aggressive person in response to what people did to me, and that didn't really help my cause. It made me look kind of bad, kind of helped what they were saying. So I just tried to change it up. I try to prove that I'm not a stereotype, that every African American, but not even just me, every person is not a stereotype. Every person's different.
My tolerance for that has really, really floundered over the years. Very expanded for a long time to being able to tolerate a lot. And I went to Israel last summer, so some of that actually kind of got narrowed back down towards you can shut up now. And last summer I went to Israel, and there's just so much pride in my Judaism, my being a minority now, that it's just a part of who I am. And if anyone can't deal with that, then they shouldn't be around in my life, because it's relevant to me.
They've made me more aware of who I am or whatever, and accepting of myself, and they've made me accepting of other people too.
And we all have a commonality of interest. What we need to have is a commonality of educational to back us up, so we understand our relationships with each other.
To stand up for what they are or whatever, and if they can't do that themselves, then to have people that they trust to do it with them.
If you can, tune it out. If not, make sure you can calmly show them your side of things. And a lot of aggression in the world just comes from misunderstanding. And if everyone would take a second to just stop and listen and learn about one another, I feel like a lot of aggression could be just kind of out the window and out of sight and out of mind.
I wouldn't advise that to go the same way I did, for one, because it really doesn't make a change. It just makes you a different person altogether. But I mean, I would just try to address them, try to see why they would act the way that they did. And I mean, nobody is completely evil, so I mean, there is some good, and you try to find that, and if you can, and they make it difficult, then I mean, you should just find another way out.
Advice to them would be, educate yourself, know who you are as a person, because everyone who says something to you, they're just empty words. You know who you are. As long as you know who you are as a person, words don't affect you. The words of others don't affect you.